So in this lesson, we'll learn how to create a research questionnaire using Microsoft Forms. And the basic topics that we are going to cover is a basic introduction about Microsoft Forms, how to log into Forms, how to create a research questionnaire, which we're going to do. We'll go through the settings of Microsoft Forms, and we'll also make this a bilingual form. Okay, we're going to make this as an Arabic English form, so that it's easier for the user to select whichever language they want. Okay, we learn how to collect the responses, how to review the responses, and finally at the end I'll show you, in case once you have your data, you will be having descriptive data and you might be also having Likert data. I'll show you how to analyze that data using Excel. Okay, that is a different video. I'll show you the links right at the end. Okay, Microsoft Forms is used to create either polls, or you want to have surveys, or you want to create questionnaires for data collection, or even if you want to get some feedback. Okay, so that's why you use Forms, Microsoft Forms. How do you log into Microsoft Forms? You can use office.com, you log in using Teams, or you can go into outlook.com, or you can also use forms.microsoft.com. okay, you can use all of these websites to get into Microsoft Forms. So I'm going to use outlook.com to log into my account. Once you have logged in, you can click on the app launcher, or click over here, waffle icon, you go and select Forms, and this will bring you to the main screen or the dashboard for your forms. Okay, now if you go into the dashboard, these are the forms that I have recently used, and these are, if you go into my forms, these are the forms that I have created. Any form that I have filled out will be shown over here. Any forms that have been shared with me will be showing over here. Any favorite forms, which you can always go into my forms. Let's say I want to make this form as a favorite one, and now it should show me over here. Okay, and of course if you want, you can just remove it. Okay, now what we want to do now is we want to create a new form, and that is the form that we want to create. So basically what I've done is I have three sections, section 1, 2, and 3, and I have selected every type of question. So for example, I've given an introduction in section 1, what is the survey about, and I've taken a consent. This type of question is a choice. Okay, you only select one answer. Same goes for this one. This is again a choice. Okay, just one answer. Same goes for this one. And once you come down over here, this is a Likert question. Okay, Likert question is strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree. Okay, so that is called a Likert question. So I have a few over here, and then I have a checkbox type question in which I can select more than one answer. And over here I have a long text question. In case you want people to give their opinion or some remarks, they can go ahead and select a long text question. Then this is a rating question. This is a ranking question, okay, which is the one that you want to put first, which one you want to put second, third, and fourth. Okay, and that is a net promoter question. Okay, so let's go and go back into our browser. I'm going to say new form, and that is the main interface. Again, you have the waffles, that's your app, and these are the menu items that you have over here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the form title. What I can do is I come back over here, I can just highlight this, copy it, go back into my browser and paste it. Next, what you can do is you can say I want to have a new question over here. Click on the plus sign, and it'll ask you what type of question you want. I can say I want to have another section, and that is my first section, which is this one over here. Sorry, I'll just copy this description, go back into your browser, go back again, and my second section is the consent, if the person is willing or not willing. I'll say add a question, and I'll say section again, and this is section 2, and I'll call that consent. Add the yes or no question. So in this section I have a yes no, so I'm going to go back and I'll say choice, yes or no. Okay, so this is, I'll just cut it from here and I'll put it back into the question. There you go. And I'll say I can just, okay, as soon as you enter that, it'll give some choices. I'll say I can just click over here and I'll say no again, click on that. I don't want the maybe question, so that's fine. That looks good. If you want to delete, you can delete. If you want to change the sequence, you can go ahead and do it from here. I'm going to make this a required field, and if you come over here, you have something called branching. Okay, now what I want to do here is, if a person says yes, I want it to go to the next question. If the person says no, I want to just exit the form. Okay, so let's say I want to have some branching, so I'm going to say go to the next one. No, I'm going to say end the form, and for this one I'm going to say go to the next one. Okay, now if you have many questions, you can just select that section, but I would just want to take it to the next question. So I'm done over here. I'll say back, and there you go. Okay, I'll create another section, which is my third section, demographics, and section, I'll call this demographics. You can give a small description over here. Come back over here, and these are my choices. Let me go back, and I'll say, so it's going to be 19 to 25. Again, I'll make this required. In case you want to shuffle, you can just select the shuffle option, and whenever a user comes, it will always shuffle the options. So each user will have a different list in the order it is displayed. Okay, so I don't need to do that. I'll just leave it as it is. Let me go back to my question, and I'll come to my final section. I'm going to say add a question section. I'm going to say lifestyle. Again, you can give a brief description. Now if you want to give an image, you can just click on this one, and you can say insert image or a video, and it'll give you Bing to search. Let's say I type in here lifestyle, and I always enter this keyword, which is JPG. I just want JPG pictures. Okay, because sometimes it gives a problem when it is pasting the information. Okay, I'll just select this one. I'll say add, and automatically it will add it to your questionnaire. Okay, so now I'll say add a question. Let's copy this. This is a Likert scale question, and these are my options: strongly disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. Add a question, and this is Likert scale question. That is my question. Let me go back and copy my first statement. Okay, so the first one is strongly disagree. Okay, and it automatically gives me the other choices. I'll come over here and I'll say disagree. This is going to be neutral. Just come over here and click. This is agree, and this one is strongly agree. Okay, I'll put in one more statement, and this will give you an idea how it's done. Come over here and paste it. Same thing, and I'll move on to my next question, which is a checkbox in which I can select multiple answers. So I'm just going to highlight this, copy this, go back, add a question. I'm going to say choice, and I'm going to say what are my choices. Okay, so once you've done that, over here you need to say that this is a multiple answer question and it is required. Okay, we'll move on to the next type of question, which is a long text question. Copy this and come back over here, and I'll say add a question, text. Okay, I'm going to make that as a long answer. Required. Come back to your questions. Okay, now this is a rating question. Okay, instead of this one, okay, 5 levels, and I would like to have a number 1 through 5, and I'll go to my next question, which is a ranking question. Okay, and I have a ranking question. Now if you want, you can just, if you want to move it, you can just do it like that. For any question, any choices that you have, you want to move it around, you can do it. You can also do it from here. Okay, of course, if you want to delete it, you can just put it in the trash can and it's gone. Again, this is required. And the last one is Net Promoter Score. Okay, I'm going to highlight this, Net Promoter Score, and that is required. Okay, and let's do a preview how our form is looking. There you go. Go to the next one. Are you willing to participate in the survey? If you say yes, it'll take you to the next question. If you say no, it's going to say submit and end your survey. Okay, so let me just go back, see our settings and styling. I can go into the style option. Now I usually use the default layouts because otherwise it sometimes messes it up when it's displaying it on your devices. So I generally use layout as default, and over here if you want, you can change the background or the coloring scheme. Okay, I'll just use it as a default option. No need for music. I'll just close this from here. Okay, then you have the settings over here. Click on settings. Okay, and anyone who can fill out this form. Generally, it's always good to have anyone can respond. Anyone with the link can, just respond to your questions. Otherwise, if you're really specific for some people or just people in your organization, then you can come on, select these two options, whichever is suitable. Options for responses, accept responses. Okay, if you want to have a start and end date, which I do not recommend, okay, just leave it open. Time duration, you want to, just give them 30 minutes or 3 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever time duration, not recommended. Shuffle question, not required unless you're doing a quiz or something. Disable question numbers for respondents. Again, that's your choice. I would always like to show a progress bar at the bottom so the person knows how much they have to do. Hide submit under this. So if you want to limit people to just answer once, highlight this one. Okay, so it will not give you the option of entering your data again and again. If you want to customize your thank you message, but if you want to customize it, click on this one. Allow respondents to say the responses. Not really. I don't want to do that. But anytime a person fills out a form, okay, you're going to have an email, okay, that someone has entered, and of course you can give your email over here. View responses. I do not have any responses. So okay, I'll go to the next one, which is preview. Just let me enter one. I'll say, see, that's the bar, the progress bar. Okay, right now it's still in English, so I've not selected a bilingual option. Okay, we'll do that later on. Are you willing to participate in the survey? I'll say yes. I'll go to the next one. Demographics, answer it. Next. Now if I say, hey, I'm going to select all of this. No recommendation. I would say 4. Okay, this is ranking questions. Okay, now I'll say submit, and your response has been submitted. I can view my responses from here, this option over here. Okay, I have one response. The average time was taken was so many minutes. Duration. Okay, now what it does is it'll take your data and create some charts for you. Since I just have one record, so not showing me much, but it's always good once you have received all your results, come over here and download a copy and start working on your results. If you want to check each result individually, click on this one, check individual results, and this will show you each person's result. Okay, this option will basically give you some more options. If you want to share the summary link, you want to print the information, and once you are done testing your form and you think it's good, you can delete all the responses. Say I want to delete, and now you're back to your questions. Okay, let me go back, and if I go into I've done view responses. Let me show you what present is. If you click on present, it will take your data and show it as a presentation for your audience. Okay, so if you go to the next one, you'll go through each question, and it will also make you a graph. If you're good with tree map, that's the tree map. If you want to show it as a bar, Okay, so it'll change it dynamically. Okay, so that's your next one. I don't have much data, so once you have data, okay, that looks interesting. Again, none. Okay, that's the only thing I have. There you go. Ranking. Okay, and the promoter. We want to make this as a bilingual form in English and in Arabic, so you need to click over here, more form settings, click here, and you have the multilingual option. Click on this one, and I do not have the language selected or installed. What I can do is I can say add additional language, and the language I need is Arabic. Once you have selected the language, click on this pencil, and what this will do is it will go through each question and it will ask you to enter the translation. Okay, so I'm going to click on the pencil, and now this is the first one, research questionnaire using forms. What I do is I always use Google Translate, paste it over here, and instead of this one I need Arabic. Okay, let's see how it shows on the screen. We'll do a preview, and once you start, it'll ask you right over here. Okay, so the user can select the preferred language. I want to select Arabic, and there you go. It'll automatically, show you all the translations that you have done, and then you can go to the next one. Okay, yes or no. I'll say no, and I'll say save. Okay, so when you want to collect responses, click over here, collect responses, and you get a number of options. Of course, anyone can respond, and over here you get this link. You can shorten this link and copy it, and you can paste it. Okay, now it's ready to paste. You can paste it in your WhatsApp group, or whenever you want to create an email. You also have the option of creating a QR code. Okay, this you can download. Once you have downloaded, you can again create an email, and in that you can type in your basic message and include the QR code. Okay, of course, and you can also share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you have a website, you can click on this one over here. You can take this and you can embed this into your website. Okay, so I've created this clip in which you can use Microsoft Excel to calculate descriptive statistic. Okay, you don't have to use SPSS. If you have Likert data and you want to analyze it in Excel using a pivot table and Power Query, you can use this video. Okay, this will help you in analyzing the data. You don't have to use SPSS, but if you do not prefer to use a pivot table, you can use this video over here. It will analyze data in Excel for Likert scale data. Okay, in this one I'm not using pivot table. Okay, that is all, and I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one.